Hello everyone and welcome back to Local Liberty. This is Brian and Shane. We have another quick episode for you. I want to follow up on a conversation I've been having with friends recently. It's got me thinking about a subject that I think I'm slowly learning. The more arguments I have, good-natured discussions, you learn from each one and you come back with some new information in your head and a new perspective. And the new perspective that I've come across recently is the difference in mindset between us versus them. And what I mean by that is, and this is sort of a delving into the libertarian mind, if anybody's interested, the dark and mysterious and always controversial libertarian mindset. When I say us versus them, I mean libertarians tend to think of government as them, as in it's somebody else, it's something else. They don't associate intimately or they don't associate at all with the state, with government. They say, okay, I don't want this, I don't want to be part of that. Whereas the other side of the coin, just use a general term of statist, meaning of the many different flavors of political thought that are not libertarian. They have a mindset of us. Things like, good old Abe Lincoln, the government is of the people, by the people, for the people, or the opening words of the Constitution, we the people. That's the mindset. They're in kind of an us mode where they think of good or bad. The things that the government does good, they say, oh, we did that, and they feel pride. The things that the government does that's bad, they say, well, we did that, and they feel guilt.
And those examples you gave, though, they were the government or part of the government. The people that are writing the Constitution or Abe Lincoln. So it makes more sense when they say it.
Okay, when they say it, yes, but they say it. They have an audience that they're saying it to.
Right, and they're including the audience.
Right, they're not. Right,
it's not just
yes,
them. It's not just we. It's all of us.
It's not just the 37 people signing the Constitution. Right. It's the however many million happen to live at the time. And good old Abe saying, "Of the people, by the people, for the people." He did not mean Congress. He meant the common man, because he was looking out for the greater good. But I've but now, like, after having some conversations about this, where I explained this to people, I came to realize how wide of a gulf that is. To when you have one person thinking in them land and saying, I really wish the state, I really wish the government wouldn't do X, Y, or Z, or I'm severely bothered by policies A, B, C, and D. And then you have on the other side, you have somebody saying that they're stuck in us mode, and they're thinking, well, it can't be that bad because we came up with it ourselves. We did it ourselves. And it's almost like approaching something from the polar opposites of, it's like basically you can get away with just about anything when you can convince somebody that that they're doing it to themselves, or they have a hand in it, or it's not even say it's for their own good. You can say, well, no, I didn't raise your taxes. You raised your taxes by electing me. And I'm going to get this on video to say, like, this is maybe an explanation for why when you're having a conversation with a libertarian, it sounds like they are just coming out of left field. It's because they have a different place in their mind where they're not, like Daniel Malloy, Richard Blumenthal, whatever the heck the other guy's name is, Christopher Murphy, Susan Johnson, Joe Courtney, May Flexer. These people represent nothing to me. Like they are nothing that I want to be part of. And I'm not to say that if somebody else won an election, I would also want to be part of them. It's like I view the government, the state, as something else that somebody else is then afflicting something on me. So the whole notion of us, of the people, by the people, for the people, that thought is just completely washed away in my mind, in the mind of, I would say, the vast majority of libertarians.
I was talking about this before we started shooting, about my classroom, my American government class. This is kind of along the same vein, a different way of just looking at things. In my American government class, we talk about all kinds of different issues, how should we solve those issues. Almost inevitably, every single other person in the room, literally everyone else in the room that decides to speak or share their opinion, other than me, their idea, their solution to the problem is another program, another levels of bureaucracy, more laws, more government, more stuff, more this, more that. And almost inevitably my solution to the problem is, can we repeal that law? Can we not have this law in the books? Can you not have this thing interfering with my life? Can you get this thing out of my way? Can you let me live? Could you just do that, please? Right? It's a very different mindset, right? And another problem with that mindset of we need stuff happening, stuff has to get done, is that they have the mindset, but they have no clue how to implement it. I want this policy outcome. I want people to be healthy. I want people to have jobs. I want people to have this. I want this and that. Then, of course, my teacher, Jason Strat, will inevitably ask, who's also been on the show, check him out on the YouTube channel. So how are you going to do that? How are you going to make people healthier? How are you going to improve this? How are you going to improve that? And then, like a deer in the headlights. Okay, well, first we need to start training people. Then we need to... They'll give you a few things. Okay, so who's paying for that? So who's running that system? And eventually, the point he's trying to say is, you haven't really thought this through too much. You say you want this, and you want this to happen, but politics and bureaucracy is a complicated thing. It's not just like press the button and now it magically occurs. No, government's is a mess. It's the massive bureaucracy. It's very difficult to get anything done, even if you wanted to do that. A lot easier solution for me is just repeal laws that are hurting people. If you want to have immediately good outcomes for people that help people, get rid of the bad laws. That's just something the government's interfering with. They can just stop interfering. Trying to have the government interfere more and create more bureaucracy is just, to me, that's the worst way to look at it. Even if you don't care about libertarianism, even if your goal is, I just want the best outcomes for people. I don't care by my viewpoint, whatever that is. This mechanism to do it, to have more government, to always use that option is problematic because just government and the nature of government and bureaucracy.
That's right, and the folks in your class that struggle with the follow-up question of, well, how are you going to do that? And they start scratching their head. They're touching on just scraping the surface on the insurmountable problem of information. How does one person in a classroom know how to solve a problem for a million other people? They have no freaking clue. How does one person behind a desk at alphabet soup bureaucracy A, B, and C, how do they know how to solve a problem for a million people? They also have no clue. And you give that one person 1,000 people, staff members, and maybe that 1,000 can solve a problem for 300 million. No, they can't. So that sort of ties back into what I was saying before about the people in your classroom who say, well, we should do this, we should implement this or that, and we is I don't know.
That language is also used often.
We ties into us, yeah. And I don't know. I've been out of my English class too long to remember all the pronouns versus this versus that kind of words. But we, us, I, all fall into one batch, and then there's them or they, and I sit in the camp when you say we, like you were talking in the context of politics and say we ought to do something. How my ears interpret that is somebody else is going to do something to me that I'm not going to be part of. I'm not going to have a say in how it's implemented. Even if, the voting booth, I don't consider that in reality, mathematically, it's not a legitimate say, especially when you're talking about federal action and by and large at state level action as well. So there's this whole thing about, we're going to do something. It's just not the way things work out. And that is a understanding that I think libertarians grasp much more fully than anybody else. That we say we're going to do X, Y, or Z. We is just the wrong word. You really should be saying, I'm going to ask for somebody else to do something to me, and maybe I'll like it, maybe I won't. And a lot of folks are willing to take the gamble.
Another problem with this we usage, and I see this online in forums, we need to do this, we need to do that. They keep saying we, and this doesn't apply to everybody, but I see this, a number of people do this. They always say we, and I think to myself, what are you doing? Well, it's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I don't use that usage, we should do this, we should do that. I can only do what I can do. Right? I'm making this show right now, as to put out my message. Right? I am doing this. There's not some magical. You are doing this as well. Right? This is not like we need to make a show. It's the we, right. the anonymous we, which is everybody. That's bizarre.
Right. There's the other grounding of libertarian thought in individuals.
Right.
And that ties into what you were just saying. So that hopefully is a little bit of a delve into the dark and scary mind of a libertarian. And when you're having a conversation with an argument with your next libertarian friend, and they're saying things that is just sounding like it's coming from Mars, maybe consider that the gulf between your views and his could just simply come down to the simplistic difference between us versus them. Thanks for listening, everybody. This is Brian and Shane. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook at Local Liberty. Put it in quotes. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you, Brian.
Take care, guys.